Listen up. You've been sitting at the table of someone who throws you crumbs, leftovers, barely enough to keep you around, but just enough to make you stay. That's not respect. That's control. You weren't made to beg for attention, validation, or scraps of love. You were made to build, lead, and dominate your space. So how do you show him, and more importantly, yourself, that you're above his crumbs? Let me tell you. Do these 5 things and watch your power shift. Don't accept crumbs when you deserve the whole table. You weren't born to beg. You weren't made to settle for half effort, half love, or half recognition. You are not someone's afterthought, backup plan, or last-minute option. But that's exactly what crumbs are, little pieces of something that was never meant to fully feed you in the first place. And when you keep accepting less, you train people to give you less. You normalize the bare minimum. You get so used to it that you start believing that's all you're worthy of. Let me tell you right now, asterisk, you're not asterisk. You weren't made to wait on someone else to realize your value. You weren't built to sit silently in someone else's shadow, hoping they throw you a little more attention, a little more time, a little more respect. That's not love. That's not loyalty. That's control. Crumbs look like unanswered texts for days. Crumbs look like empty promises and weak apologies. Crumbs look like maybe, we'll see, and I'm just busy. And the more you accept them, the more you become starved, not just for love, but for identity, because when you constantly reach for less, you lose sight of who you are. But let's be clear, the table, the whole asterisk table, was always meant for you. A place where you are valued, respected, seen, heard, not tolerated, celebrated. But to sit at that table, you have to first walk away from the ones where you're only getting crumbs, even if it's painful, even if it's lonely, even if it means rebuilding yourself from the ground up. Because here's the truth. If you don't walk away from the crumbs, you'll never make space for the feast. You'll keep chasing people who don't care, while the people who would have honored you never even get a chance. So stop negotiating with disrespect. Stop giving access to people who only show up when it's convenient. Stop making excuses for people who don't choose you fully. You're not too much. You're not asking for too much. You've just been surrounded by people who have been giving too little. And now it's time to change that. Because the moment you stop settling, your life starts rising. And everything you've been waiting for, it's been waiting on asterisk. You asterisk. Raise your standards and stop tolerating mediocrity, because what you tolerate, you invite, and what you invite becomes your reality. If your life feels average, if your circle feels uninspiring, if your goals feel distant, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because somewhere along the way, you decided that average was acceptable. You decided that good enough was good enough, but it's not. Not for someone who knows deep down they were made for more. The truth is, standards shape everything. They determine how you treat yourself, how others treat you, and how far you go. When your standards are low, you allow excuses to sound like reasons. You let comfort pretend to be peace. You let people stay in your life simply because they've always been there, not because they add value. And slowly, without even realizing it, you become okay with less effort, less excellence, less fire in your belly. But let me tell you something. Nothing legendary is built on mediocre habits. Nothing powerful comes from being lukewarm. If you want to lead, create, dominate, your standards need to reflect that. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You don't rise by chance. You rise by choice. And the first choice you need to make is to stop tolerating anything that doesn't match where you're going. That includes your habits, your attitude, your self-talk, and yes, your relationships. People who don't challenge you, people who make you feel guilty for wanting more, people who settle and want you to settle too. They have no place in your future. You're not selfish for expecting excellence. You're not arrogant for demanding effort. You're just done accepting less, and once you raise your standards, something shifts. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop explaining your worth. you start showing it, because high standards aren't about being hard to please. They're about being hard to manipulate. They're about being aligned with your vision. So stop making room for mediocrity in your life. Stop keeping people around out of habit. Stop letting your potential collect dust because you're afraid to leave what's familiar. Your life becomes extraordinary the moment you decide ordinary is no longer acceptable. And when you raise your standards, the world will try to test them, but that's when you hold the line. That's when you remember who you are, not someone who settles, not someone who blends in, but someone who rises. Every damn time. Focus on personal growth and mission above all, because everything else, attention, approval, validation, it's noise, temporary, unreliable, fleeting, but growth, that's yours forever. That's the one thing no one can take from you. People can walk away, plans can fall apart, the world can throw curveballs you never saw coming, but the progress you make, the mindset you build, the strength you earn through the struggle, that stays, and that's why your mission has to come first, not second, not when it's convenient, first. Because if you don't lead your life with purpose, someone else will, and you'll end up living a life that doesn't even feel like yours. You'll chase things that look good but don't feel right. You'll surround yourself with people who drain you because you forgot to define your direction. But when you lock in on your growth, when you treat every day like a chance to get better, sharper, stronger, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get harder to break. You start to say no without guilt. You start to set boundaries with confidence. You stop settling, not because you're cold, but because you finally know your worth. And your mission, that's the fuel behind it all. That's the reason you wake up with intention instead of just waking up to survive. It gives your pain a purpose. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. It reminds you that you're not here just to exist. You're here to build, to impact, to leave something behind. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to broadcast your journey. You just need to do the work. In silence. In discipline, in full alignment with your mission. Because the truth is, the more you focus on your growth, the less noise matters, the drama irrelevant, the opinions background static. You stop asking, what will they think? And start asking, does this align with where I'm going? That shift is everything. So choose the hard road. Choose the book over the distraction. Choose the gym over the gossip. Choose the vision over the vibe. This is your life. You don't get another one. So build it with intention. Grow through what you go through, and never forget, your growth and your mission come first. Not because you're selfish, but because you're focused. Cut emotional dependencies and walk away with dignity. Because the moment you rely on someone else to validate your worth, you've already handed them control. Control over your mood, your peace, your sense of self, and that's dangerous. That's the trap. It starts small. A little compromise here, a little silence there, a little more tolerance for things that don't sit right with your soul, and before you know it, you're not in a connection. You're in a cage. You start shrinking to keep the peace. You start adjusting your truth so you don't lose their attention. But let me ask you something. What's the point of keeping someone around if you have to lose yourself to do it? What's the point of being needed if being needed keeps you stuck? Emotional dependency is not love. It's survival. It's fear in disguise. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear of facing yourself without their presence to distract you. But here's the truth. There is power in walking away. Not in bitterness, not in drama, but in dignity. Because dignity says, I know what I bring. Dignity says, I don't need to beg for consistency. Dignity says, I can love you and still choose myself. And choosing yourself doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared enough to stop abandoning your own needs for someone who didn't notice. Cutting the cord doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're finally clear, clear about your boundaries, clear about your value, clear about the difference between connection and attachment. Attachment says, I can't live without you. Growth says, I can live fully with or without you. You don't owe anyone endless emotional labor. You don't have to prove your worth through suffering. You don't need to stay connected just because of history. You can forgive and still walk away. You can love and still let go. And when you do, something amazing happens. You come home to yourself. You remember that you were whole before them, that your peace isn't tied to someone else's presence, that your strength isn't measured by how much pain you can endure, but by how willing you are to release what no longer serves you. So walk away, not to punish, not to provoke, but to protect. Protect your heart, protect your future, protect your energy. Let them wonder, let them miss you, let them realize what they lost, but you move forward with your head high, your spirit intact, and your dignity unshaken. Silence can be more powerful than confrontation, because not everything deserves your reaction. Not every insult requires a reply. Not every provocation earns your energy. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. Just walk away, just let it burn, let them talk, let them assume, let them misunderstand you, because silence isn't weakness. Silence is strength under control. It's knowing you could respond, but choosing not to. It's understanding that peace is more valuable than proving a point. Some people want a reaction. They want to pull you into their chaos. They want to see you flinch, break, argue, snap. They want to keep you trapped in cycles that serve their ego. But when you go silent, you starve the drama, you take away their power, you step out of the arena and remind them, you don't wrestle with noise when you're building an empire. You don't trade your peace for petty victories. There is a time for truth. There is a time to speak, but not every battle deserves your voice. Some things resolve themselves when you stop feeding them. Some people disappear when you stop chasing them. Some arguments end when you stop engaging. Your silence speaks volumes. It says, I'm not here to entertain nonsense. It says, I'm not going to lower my frequency to match yours. It says, I know my worth and I don't need to explain it. And most importantly, it says, I've moved on. Confrontation can be useful, but only when it serves growth, only when it builds something, not when it becomes a performance, not when it's just a loop of pain, blame, and pride. The louder the world gets, the more powerful silence becomes. It cuts deeper than shouting. It lasts longer than insults, because when you go quiet, not out of fear, but out of focus, it unnerves people. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know how you'll move, and that uncertainty, that's leverage, that's control, that's clarity. Your silence creates space for healing, for vision, for elevation. So don't be afraid to say nothing, to detach, to fall back. Let your absence speak where your words once did. Let your results speak louder than your defense. Let your peace be the response to the chaos they tried to bring into your life. In a world addicted to noise, silence is rebellion. It's self-respect. It's discipline. So next time you're tempted to explain, defend, or prove yourself, pause, take a breath, and remember, silence isn't surrender. It's strategy. Use rejection and disrespect as fuel for your rise, because nothing sharpens your edge like being underestimated. Nothing lights a fire like someone telling you you're not enough. They thought they were breaking you, but what they really did was wake you up. They handed you the match that set your drive on fire. Let them laugh, let them doubt, let them walk away like you're replaceable. That's fine. Because you don't need approval to become unstoppable. You don't need applause to get to work. You don't need validation to level up. Rejection is redirection. It's the world saying, not here, not now, go bigger. It's the universe forcing you to stop begging for crumbs and build your own damn table? Disrespect, that's a mirror. It shows you exactly who doesn't deserve your presence, exactly where you need to draw the line, exactly how strong you've become. You take that disrespect and you alchemize it. Turn it into discipline, turn it into clarity, turn it into the energy that gets you up earlier, pushes you harder, and makes you unstoppable in silence. Let them think they broke you. Let them think they left you empty. Let them think they've won. Meanwhile, you're grinding, you're evolving. You're building a life so solid they'll need binoculars just to see where you've gone. You don't seek revenge, you seek results. You don't prove them wrong with words, you do it with actions, with consistency, with resilience they never saw coming, because the greatest revenge isn't rage, it's reinvention. It's walking past what once hurt you and not feeling a thing. It's thriving without needing to be seen. Rejection isn't a closed door, it's a test. Do you fold, or do you fight? Do you collapse, or do you climb? You choose. And every time you use the pain instead of drowning in it, you rise a little more. Every time you say, noted, and move forward, you build power, you build grit, you build something no one can touch, self-respect. So stop crying over people who couldn't see your value. Stop chasing opportunities that didn't value your time. Stop revisiting pain trying to make it apologize. Use it, all of it, the silence, the betrayal, the disregard. Use it like gasoline, because you're not just rising, you're rewriting the whole damn story. And when they finally look back, they won't see the person they rejected. They'll see someone who turned their ignorance into motivation and kept rising without a word. Invest your time in people who elevate, not drain you. Because time is the one thing you'll never get back, and who you give it to matters. Every conversation, every connection, every moment you share, it's either building you or breaking you down. There's no neutral. Some people inspire you to rise, others keep you stuck in cycles you swore you'd never repeat. Some conversations leave you full of clarity, motivation, and purpose. Others leave you questioning yourself, doubting your worth, and guessing your goals. Start paying attention. Notice how you feel after spending time with someone. Are you more focused, more energized, more certain of your path? Or are you mentally exhausted, emotionally confused, spiritually drained? That's not accidental. That's data. And it's your job to protect your energy like your future depends on it. Because it does. When you surround yourself with people who elevate you, something changes. They challenge your excuses, they push your limits, they remind you of your power when you forget it yourself. They don't let you play small, they hold you accountable not because they want to control you, but because they want to see you win. That's the kind of circle you need, people who speak life into your vision, people who respect your boundaries, your time, your mission. People who aren't intimidated by your growth, but that only happens when you let go of the ones who drain you. The ones who gossip, complain, and stay stuck. The ones who expect you to shrink so they feel more comfortable. The ones who only show up when they need something. Let them go, not in anger, not in bitterness. Just with clarity. Clarity that your time is too valuable to waste. Clarity that your future is too important to compromise. Clarity that you don't owe anyone access to you just because they've been around. You're not obligated to keep watering relationships that bear no fruit. You can love someone and still leave. You can appreciate the past and still protect your future. And when you start aligning with people who elevate you, you'll notice your standards change. You'll stop tolerating surface-level connections. You'll stop chasing people who make you question your worth. You'll stop trying to force energy that clearly isn't aligned, because the real ones, they don't drain you. They don't distract you, they don't delay your growth, they amplify it. They remind you of who you are when life gets loud. They make you sharper, more focused, more driven, and more at peace, so choose wisely. Your circle is either a cage or a launch pad. Surround yourself with people who want to see you win just as badly as they want to win themselves. That's how you rise together, no dead weight, no distractions. No apologies. Self-worth is earned through action, not words. You can tell yourself you're valuable all day long. You can post quotes. You can read affirmations. You can repeat mantras in the mirror. But if your actions don't match those words, nothing changes, because true self-worth isn't about what you say. It's about what you do. You build it through discipline. You build it through showing up for yourself even when no one else does. Even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, you build it by keeping the promises you make to yourself when no one's watching. You build it in the moments when you could quit, but don't, when you could settle, but choose better, when you could numb out, but face it instead. That's where self-worth is born, not in convenience, not in comfort, but in consistency. You can't fake it. You can't outsource it. You can't talk your way into it. Because deep down, you know when you're doing the work, and when you're just pretending. You know when you're pushing yourself, and when you're just going through the motions. You can lie to everyone else, but you can't lie to the mirror. That's why self-worth hits different when it's earned. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's walking into a room without needing to prove anything, because you already proved it to yourself. It's saying no to things that don't serve you, not because you're better than anyone, but because you finally know what you deserve. It's setting boundaries, not to keep people out, but to keep your peace in. People will try to tell you what you're worth. They'll try to define you by your past, your mistakes, your status. But when you've built your worth from the inside, their opinion becomes irrelevant, because your confidence doesn't come from what they think. It comes from the fact that you've done the work, you've overcome the setbacks, you've stayed in the fight, you've earned your respect from yourself and that kind of worth, no one can take it from you. No relationship, no failure, no rejection, because it's rooted in action. So stop waiting for people to validate you. Stop hoping the world will hand you permission to feel enough. You don't need permission. You need action. You need proof. You need to become the person you say you are, not just once, every day, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. That's how self-worth is built, quietly, privately, powerfully, by living in alignment with the standards you claim to believe in, by doing the hard things that elevate you, not the easy things that distract you, by showing up, not perfectly, but relentlessly. Because self-worth isn't a feeling you chase, it's a lifestyle you earn. Power is taken back when you stop needing validation. Because the moment you stop asking for permission to be yourself, everything changes. You stop shrinking, you stop explaining, you stop apologizing for wanting more, needing space, or setting boundaries. And in that moment, you begin to remember who you are. Too many people live their lives trying to earn a thumbs up from the world, trying to impress people who don't even matter, trying to look good instead of feel good. But validation is a drug, and the more you chase it, the more it owns you. The more you depend on it, the less you trust your own voice. You start living for likes, approval, applause. You change your personality just to fit in. You say yes when you want to scream no. You play small because you're afraid of what someone else might think. That's not power, that's a prison, and the key is letting go of the need to be understood by everyone. Because not everyone will get you. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone will applaud your growth, your choices, or your healing. And that's okay. You weren't made to blend in. You weren't built to follow the script. You were made to lead your life with truth and courage and fire. But that starts with trusting yourself enough to walk alone when you have to speak up even when your voice shakes, to do what's right for you, even if it disappoints people, especially if it disappoints people who only loved the version of you that kept them comfortable. You don't need a crowd to believe in you. You need **U* to believe in you. You don't need constant reassurance. You need integrity. When your actions match your values, you don't need anyone to clap for you. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. And that kind of clarity, that's where your power lies. You take it back every time you stop people pleasing. You take it back every time you trust your gut over the noise. You take it back every time you choose peace over performance. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to live fully, boldly, unapologetically. And when you finally stop seeking validation, something incredible happens. You start moving faster. You start making decisions based on purpose, not popularity. You start walking lighter because you no longer carry the weight of everyone else's opinions. That's not arrogance, that's freedom, that's power, real power, the kind that doesn't shout, the kind that doesn't beg, the kind that stands tall, even when no one's clapping. Reinvention is the ultimate form of revenge. Choose better, be better, because nothing shakes the ground like someone who refuses to stay broken. Nothing rattles the people who doubted you more than watching you evolve into everything they said you'd never be. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to rise silently, powerfully, unapologetically. You don't get even by staying stuck. You don't get even by proving points. You get even by disappearing into your growth and coming back unrecognizable. You get even by building a life so focused, so fulfilled, so free, that they don't even recognize the version of you they once dismissed. Let them think you're done. Let them think they've won. Let them write your story in their own version of who they thought you were. Because when you choose better, when you become better, the story rewrites itself. No loud moments, no dramatic exits, just consistent elevation. You become your own closure. You stop looking backward. You stop wishing it played out differently. You stop holding on to versions of yourself that only existed to survive, and instead you reinvent, you rebuild, you redefine. Every day you make decisions that serve your future, not your past. You train your mind to think higher. You treat your body with discipline. You protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. This is where the real revenge happens, not in trying to win them back, but in never needing them again, not in making them see your worth, but in being so secure in your worth that their opinion doesn't register anymore. Reinvention doesn't require anyone's permission. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't wait for timing to be perfect. It happens in silence, in solitude, in the middle of your breakdowns and breakthroughs. It's not about becoming someone new just to impress the world. It's about shedding everything you never needed in the first place. All the fear, all the doubt, all the attachment to people who couldn't see you clearly. You burn it all down and build again, not bitter, not broken, but wiser, sharper, stronger. You walk different. You talk different. You no longer beg for attention. You command respect through presence alone. That's the kind of revenge that lasts, not temporary validation, but permanent transformation. So if they hurt you, good. Use it. If they counted you out, perfect. Start counting your own wins, because nothing humbles those who tried to break you more than seeing you fully healed, fully focused, and fully out of reach. So now you know. You don't need to get loud to get even. You don't need to chase, beg, or prove. You just need to rise quietly, consistently, completely. Let your reinvention be the statement. Let your elevation be the echo. Let your new chapter be so powerful, it makes the old one irrelevant. This isn't about revenge, it's about rebirth. Because the real flex isn't proving them wrong. It's becoming so right with yourself that nothing they say even matters. So choose better, be better, and never look back.